Hi. In the previous video, we have discussed about the description of each and every components available for the position control of DC servo motor experiment. In this video, we are going to discuss about the control system development for that servo motor using MATLAB and Simulink. This video I have already recorded and I am playing this video in a media player and I am giving a voice background. Okay, so once you have opened MATLAB, open Simulink and create a new model. Now in the Simulink, under simulation configuration parameters, we need to set few important aspects. Okay, so once you click on Simulink and if you click on configuration parameters, you will get a dialog box like this. In that, we need to set the start time as 0, stop time as infinity, and usually the default solver option would be variable step solver for simulation. But since we are running a digital control system, control signal have to be given at specified time interval. So in such case, it is better to have a fixed step solver. So in the solver option, choose the step size, solver type as fixed step solver, and the solver as ODE 1 Euler. This is the Euler's method which you have studied in numerical methods. MATLAB supports several fixed step solvers. You can choose any one of the solver of your interest. Euler's first order solver is the very basic solver, and also keep the fixed step size as 0.002. Okay, it is around 2 millisecond. Okay, those things have been created. Now after setting the solver parameters, there is a toolbox called real-time workshop available in MATLAB. In that, we need to specify a quark specific target. The system target file should be quark_windows.tlc. Okay, now our simulation configuration have been done. Now let us connect the blocks. So under quark targets, data acquisition, generic, under configuration there is a block called HIL initialize, hardware in loop initialize. You double click on that block and choose the board type as Q8 USB. This is the type of the board or data acquisition board we have. Okay, so once you have chosen it, next you can choose your desired input as well as output blocks. Those blocks will be available under data acquisition, generic, immediate IO. First, let us choose HIL read encoder. Choose the channel as 0 because in hardware we have connected to channel 0. Similarly, choose HIL write analog. That will provide analog output in the data acquisition board. There also we are connected to channel 0, so choose channel as 0. Now this encoder has a gain of 0.0015. Choose that gain. Okay, this encoder gain is constant for a given encoder. Okay. Now let us create a closed loop system. So for that we require a reference signal. Let us choose a signal generator and a summer block for evaluating the error. Next to connect those blocks and double click on the summer and choose the second option as minus. So therefore you will calculate reference minus actual output. First, let us try to run an uncompensated system. Our Kc is going to remain as 1. See, the amplifier we have has a gain of -1. In order to cancel that, we add another -1 in our loop. See, if we have just -1 there itself, then the design will be very complex. So very easy method to overcome that is to nullify that negative gain by adding another gain in our control system, so that the inverse behavior of the system will be cancelled out. Okay. Now, in order to limit the output voltage which is sent to the data acquisition board, I am using a saturation block. Upper limit is plus 10 volt and minus 10 is lower limit is minus 10 volt. You connect those blocks. Okay. So our model is ready. Now let us save this model and let us try to build this block. Okay, the build option will be available there in the menu bar. Click on it. This is called incremental build button. Now what happens is MATLAB will generate a corresponding C code in the backend for the blocks we have created, and those blocks will be downloaded into the Quark real-time control software. Now choose the simulation mode as external, and there is a button called connect to the target, and once you have connected to the target, then click on run button. The motor will start to run. Okay. In order to view the actual outputs in the form of a graph, let us connect a mux and a scope. In the mux, the second input is going to be our actual position, and our first input is going to be our reference position. In the reference, we choose a square reference with a very slow frequency, around 0.2. That means for every 5 seconds there will be a step change. Okay. So whenever you have added a new block, we need to rebuild the particular model. Now we have added another scope for measuring the actual controller output. So once again we will rebuild the block. And if you run this after connecting to target, if you start to run the code, then the motor will start to rotate. Actually, as of now, the motor is running. Okay. See, since we are very much comfortable with degrees rather than radians, what I have included is a radians to degree conversion block in the feedback term, that is after the output of the encoder gain. Okay. Now the reference angle you can set in the form of degrees, and I hope it will be a little bit intuitive. Okay, in the reference I am setting the amplitude as 90, and as I said, we have added a degree to radians to degree block. So now reference angle is in degrees and actual position is also in degrees. I am once again building this block. Okay, once it is built, let us connect to the target and run the simulation. Okay. Now if you see this graph, we are getting a kind of underdamped response. Okay. Let us stop the simulation and choose any one of the step. Let us consider this step. If you expand it, we have applied a step signal at exactly 12.5 seconds, and system is settling within few seconds. Now if you zoom this graph, we can find the overshoot. We have given a step reference of 80, and for this there is a maximum overshoot going till 91.5. Okay. So now let us calculate the maximum peak overshoot, which is going to be maximum value minus final value divided by your final value. Okay, I think I mistyped it wrong. Maximum peak overshoot is maximum value, which is 19.5 minus 91.5 minus 80 divided by 80. Okay, this is the maximum peak overshoot. From the graph, we can also note down the settling time. How to find settling time? Just open the scope, reset your graph. See, we are observing for the step which is applied at 12.5 second, and see, the settling time is around peak time is around 12.708 second. So peak time is going to be 12.708 minus your starting time, that is 12.5. So peak time is going to be 0.208. So now we know the maximum peak overshoot as well as the peak time of the closed loop system. From this closed loop system, we can evaluate the open loop transfer function. So the kind of method I am using, which is called closed loop identification. Now, if you consider the values we have found out, peak time 0.208, overshoot is 0.1438, and if you solve these two equations, we will get the value of damping ratio is 0.525 and natural frequency, which is 17.746. So a typical closed loop transfer function of a second order system is omega n square divided by s square plus 2 zeta omega n plus omega n square. So let us enter those values. Zeta equal to 0.525 and omega n is equal to 17.746. Let us create this closed loop transfer function. Let it be assigned to a variable GCL. So GCL equal to TF of omega n square divided by, within square bracket, the coefficient s square plus 2 zeta omega ns plus omega n square. Now the closed loop transfer function is available. Now the open loop transfer function can be obtained by solving this fundamental loop. Okay. Now if you see the open loop transfer function, if you reduce this block diagram and solve for g, you will get GCL divided by 1 minus GCL. I have just evaluated that in MATLAB, and sometimes during numerical evaluation there may be some common factor. To remove that, there is a command called minreal, which will eliminate the common factor in numerator and denominator, and it will give the final solution. So therefore the closed loop transfer function which we have obtained from the hardware, for that the open loop transfer function is going to be 314.9 divided by s into s plus 18.63. This is a type 0 second order system. Okay. Now let us try to design some compensator for this system. My specifications are: my settling time after compensation should be 80% of that of uncompensated system, and the maximum peak overshoot, let us have it around 10%, which maximum peak overshoot should be less than 10%. Okay. Now let us evaluate our desired closed loop settling time, which is 80% of the uncompensated system. Okay. Which is going to be our 80% of 0.3435. Okay. Now let us open SASO tool. In the root locus plot, let us add the desired specifications, or settling time as well as overshoot. the settling time value you are entering, which is 0.3435, and overshoot also we have entered. Now let us design a lead compensator. So if we add a pole 0 pair as a lead compensator, the root locus shape will alter, and we adjust the position of pole and 0 such a way that you get your root locus to pass through your desired closed loop point. Okay, I am adjusting the pole and 0. Now my root locus is passing through my desired point. Now we have obtained the closed loop compensator transfer function. This transfer function we will include in the Simulink, and let us evaluate the actual closed loop response. This transfer function block will be available in the Simulink library under continuous. You just select the transfer function block, drag and drop it into the Simulink. You interconnect them and enter your compensator parameters. Okay, so I think I have entered it correctly. Now our compensated system is ready. I am reconnecting the scope. Now we can build these blocks once again, and let us connect it to the target and run the simulation. See, the kind of simulation what we are doing is called hardware in loop simulation. That is, your hardware our plant is going to be a real-time plant, and our controller is going to be run in a computer. Okay, now the simulation is running, and let me readjust the waveforms. Now you can see that the waveform whatever we are getting is having less overshoot, and I think the settling time is also less. So that means we are able to achieve our desired specification. See, previously overshoot was more than 10%. Now we see maximum value is very much near 82. So therefore 82 minus 80 by 80, if you find it out, it will be much more lesser value. So we are able to achieve our transient specifications. So till now in this video, what we have seen is we have obtained the closed loop response of the uncompensated system. Then we have designed a lead compensator to achieve desired specifications, and that compensator we implemented in closed loop, and we have observed the scope. Okay, in the next video I will show you how these responses are actually available in the hardware. Thank you.